Yo, this is the OT99 banter room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back with another show. It's your boy Therms, and I'm joined today with Ed, man. It's the Therms and Ed show. Look, the thumbnail, the title, decision made. Look, Manchester United. We've been hearing all the swirling rumors, all the discussions about the midfield, about signings. Since we're on this long break, you get me, international break has kicked in. You know what I mean? There ain't much to really talk about with Manchester United, you know, except for planning for the future, which is the summer transfer window. But guys, man, welcome to the show. If you're watching this live, whenever if you tune in, feel free to drop a comment, man. We're gonna make this show interactive. You get me? We'll listen to your comments and we'll try to respond. But meanwhile, this show is gonna be chopped up into a little series. You know, I mean, we're gonna be talking about the midfield targets, which is going to be today's show. We're also going to be talking about forward lines and then the defensive line in terms of options available to us and guys that we might be going for in next shows. But right now, it's going to be focused on the midfield because we all know that is very key. But guys, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Ed. Ed, what you saying, fam?
Not much, man. How are you, man?
Bro, I'm good, you know. I can't lie, I'm good, man. It's good to be back. It's good to be back,
a good turnaround of season, isn't it? Where we started under Amram and to where we're at now. So to think that we're talking about Champions League football is interesting. So, but we'll see how the season finishes. But we're in a good position to do well.
It's crazy, isn't it? I think, like, obviously Amram didn't leave us in a bad position. We're still like only a few points. Was it 3-4 points of top four? But it just felt a bit murky, innit? It felt a bit uncertain. And then obviously Carrick's coming with that feel-good factor pause and he made us start performing. So I'm glad to see that Man United has hit a good run of form. And it looks like, touch wood, Man United like is going to be, you know what I mean, like making top four. So hopefully we can press on with that, man, and secure the bag. But bro, like I said today, man, we're gonna talk about Manchester United, our midfield signings, bro. So looking at the news, right? I don't know if you listen to the Talk of the Devils podcast, Ed.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it recently.
It's got like Karlanka, it's got like Andy Mitten, it's got Laurie Whitwell, it's got a few like guys that are fully locked in with Manchester United news, get me? And they do a podcast and they've done a 3-part series, which is where I got my inspiration from doing a 3-part series. Because they did a 3-part series and they're talking about the transfers and the signings, and they released some important news. One of the things that Laurie Whitwell said, right, he's like a reporter and a Man United fan as well, works for the Athletic. He was asked, right, what Man United's priorities are for the summer, and he said it's both midfielders, because you know Man United's been linked with 2 midfielders, right? And he said it's both midfielders. He said he thinks that we'll be going big with midfielders. He says the finances are, as always, tight. The actual cash levels, they will have more flexibility with Champions League, but they can't write a blank check. I think there's scope for a couple of solid midfielders, a couple of 70 million midfielders, something like that. What's your thoughts on that, Edmund?
I think it's needed, but it's more the profile, isn't it? Because we can say, okay, we can get a 70 million, but we need someone with legs, isn't it? Because Mainu's good, but he's not like the most mobile in terms of like energy and closing down. And getting someone with a bit more legs that can control the ball and pass the ball, give him a bit more freedom as well. So I think the amount gives us the scope to go, but we just have to make sure we get the right profile for what we want.
So what's your thoughts on that? You mentioned Mainly because obviously he was out in the cold under Amarin. He wasn't really getting no game time, very minimal. And then Carrick comes in and all of a sudden he's starting every game. And he's putting in a shift, to be honest. He's doing well. You know, I mean, he's done well against City, your Liverpool. He's been steady. Do you know what I mean? He's keeping the midfield ticking. But like you said, there's some not concerns. I wouldn't call it concerns, but there's like clear like lack of like maybe physicality or mobility and stuff that we want in our midfield. Where it seems like INEOS are driving at. So what's your thoughts on this stuff? Because we've been linked with 2 midfielders. What do you think is the future for Kobe Mainly? Obviously, he signed like a long-term contract. He's going to be here. But in terms of his playing time, what's your thoughts on that?
I think he'll play. I don't think. But also, look, it's all depending on what happens next. Also, because one of our biggest signings is not going to be a midfielder next year. Is our manager.
Facts.
That's the biggest signing. So it all depends, isn't it? Someone could come in and not see the value in him and want their own style, or if someone like Carrick stays, he will play.
Mm.
And I think he will play for the fact that they've offered him another long-term contract. They probably made him some promises because remember he didn't want to leave Man United, but he just wanted to go out on loan to get first team football. So I'm sure there's been discussions on his playing time. But I think whether Carrick stays or not, I think he'll have a space there. But you just need to find someone that complements him.
That's the thing. So do you think like these two? Do you think like the midfielders, or so we're after two? Do you feel like I think obviously it's been highly touted that we're gonna get like a blockbuster signing, like an Anderson type Tonali, and then we're going to get a person that is kind of like will be like an understudy to provide depth. Do you think that that's the case, or do you think that we're gonna get two starters that's gonna
I don't know if you get two starters, where does that leave Manu? I think it depends. I think Man United will go for one main one and then throw in their luck in getting a second one. But I think the main goal will be to replace Casemiro and actually get a world class or midfielder. And I think then if there's an opportunity to get a second one, cool. Because you've got to remember, there's still, even though he's not played well, they've still got Ugarte and some other people that are known as well at the moment. So I think the priority will be to get one world class, and I think if they've got a chance, I think they'll get a second one in, especially the depth that they need, because there's obviously going to be the Champions League, multiple games a week, and the other cups as well.
So this is coming from Craig Hope. It's from the Daily Mail, right? He says, Tonali has been linked with every club from Barcelona to Real Madrid to Arsenal and Man City in recent weeks. But my information in the past 48 hours is that Manchester United are moving to the front of the queue. He says they are not considering a move for Newcastle captain Bruno Guimaraes. So this guy, Craig Hope from the Daily Mail, he's kind of, to be honest, like he's been treated as being like a high in the kind of certified in the Newcastle news and like news related to Newcastle, and obviously like he's been kind of potent at times in certain transfer news. They have been following his journey as well as a sort of do you know what I mean, like a guy that presents all of the breaking news, a journalist. So what's your thoughts on that statement then? Because obviously it's been tooted throughout the window, Anderson is going to be our number one signer. And do you feel like Anderson should be that main guy, or do you feel like Tonali is someone that should be the person that we're looking at?
I think it all depends on what happens, right, in other areas of the market, right? Because as much as we can say Anderson, it's very likely that he will go to Man City now, because especially after Rodri's recent interview, he sounds like he's kind of confirming his move to Real Madrid, right? Yeah. So if he goes to Real Madrid, that opens the door for now Man City to get a midfielder, which that could be Anderson. And it sounds like they've already kind of started a process in terms of like speaking to him and his agent. So for now, I will kind of park Anderson because I feel like he'll potentially go to Man City. So I don't know. I haven't watched. But the problem is Tonali the profile that we need, though?
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you this for free.
Like, if you look at his playing style, okay, he's not your conventional DM, right? He's more of a ball playing one, right?
Yeah.
So
he's not like a Ugarte, far from. He's more like he can dictate the tempo of the game. He's got really, really good passing range. He can also bomb forward and do the box to box. And you would have saw, like, I don't know if you saw it, but in international duty as well, he got on a score sheet as well. He knows how to hit that ball. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like we need like someone that's, we've missed someone that just has steel in there. You know what I mean? Just someone that's rugged, like tough.
That's Tonali, though. It's Tonali. That's Tonali.
But is he like that though? In terms of like, getting stuck in. And
Yeah, he's like that.
I haven't watched enough of him. You know, I watched him a bit before, and then he looked good. Then he got the ban, so I haven't watched him enough to be like, yeah. So
Yeah, Tonali is well rounded. Like when, like for me, if we got Tonali right, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, like like it's an unsuccessful summer. Do you know what I mean? Window like getting Tonali is.
Has he got legs though?
Yeah, he's got legs. He's got legs. That's the thing. Like with Tonali, yeah, he ticks a lot of the boxes, bro. A lot of the boxes.
How much would he be though?
Bro, you're breaking the transfer record, my guy. You're breaking it. You're breaking it, man. Anderson, you're breaking it. Tonali, you're breaking it. Bruno Guimaraes, you ain't breaking it, but you're probably going to spend somewhere between, with how Newcastle probably moving, probably between 65 odd to maybe 80 million. And the only reason why he probably ain't hitting 100 is because of his age. He'll be turning 29.
But does Tonali want to leave though?
Yeah, so the news is that he wants to go back to Italy, right? But no Italian team is going to be able to afford that transfer wage. I mean, not wage, transfer fee. So only a Premier League team realistically is going to be able to afford that. So then it's going to come down to whether he wants to stay in Newcastle, where currently, I don't even know where they are in the league. Is it 10th or less or lower, maybe 12th? It's either he stays there and has no Champions League football or no European football at all, or he does move to Manchester United and he gets to play Champions League football. We sell him that project, you know what I mean, of Premier League 2028, and he's performing next to the likes of Manu and maybe another star. So, look.
What I'd say about him, he is a very technical player from what I've seen in terms of passing. He's very good positioning.
He's good on the ball. We need him in terms of like ball retention, calmness, yeah. Like pinging that ball, like I said, his passing range I think is better than Anderson's. My thing is my reservation on him though is he's already come out and said, I want to go back to Italy. So for my thing is like, this guy, is he already homesick? Like he wants to, you know what I mean? He wants to go back home, like already. And it's making me feel like when you're at Manchester United, is your head still going to be in Italy? You know what I mean? What's going to happen?
The thing is, he's still playing well at Newcastle, isn't he? He seems like he's a professional, isn't he? You could say you want to do one thing, but it's just whether the stars align. And I don't know if the Italian, like you say, league, the teams that you probably want to go to, have the resources to bring him back here.
Yeah. So another name that we've been linked to, obviously, and that you can see it in the thumbnail, we've got Wharton, we've got Belieber. Do you know what I mean? And we've also got, so those are the other two names that have been widely tooted around. What's your thoughts on, obviously, so with Anderson, just to wrap up on Anderson, so Manchester United had done the early groundwork with him already. So we've had discussions with him. We've had discussions with his agents. City's now going to do that and they're aggressively having that chatter as well. But from what Ben Jacobs is saying, he's saying that nothing has been discussed with the club. Nothing has been discussed with them. Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, he says it's just between the agent and the player. So City's had the discussion, Man United's had the discussion. And the verdict is that he's only going to be going to Manchester United or Man City. So there's not going to be no random European team coming in. There's not going to be no Chelsea's. There's not going to be no Liverpool. None of that. It's going to be either Man. It's a Manuel situation all over again. So that's the situation with him. But obviously, there's rumors, there's whispers that Anderson is already decided where he wants to go. And Rodri, doing what he's done, like you mentioned, is just freeing up he's twerking, you know what I mean? Freeing up the way for man like Anderson to pass through. Probably see how he was proper on that radio station chatting.
Yeah. Though. But it might be, look, you never put stuff by a club. They probably even told him, look, you can go during the summer, right? He's done this interview, just open the door, because then Anderson's probably thinking, you know, if I choose to go to Man City, I'm going to be starting.
Yeah, facts. That's the thing. I think with Rodri leaving, it makes me more certain that Anderson's going to go there. At least if United, we could say you're going to guarantee start. With City, I couldn't say that. But now with Rodri moving on, it's looking like a done deal. And that's probably why Man United is pressing ahead with Tonali, because there's no one else we can get. You get me? But what's your thoughts on the partner then? Because obviously we've got if it is Tonali, that's going to be, if we do land Tonali, right, it's going to cost a huge sum. We'll probably be partnering Maney. What's your thoughts on Belieber and Anderson? Like out of the two, obviously we've done some heavy lifting with.
Well,
Belieber.
let's be honest. Anderson is more in form, isn't it? Belieber's kind of fallen off a little bit this season, isn't it?
No, but Belieber versus Wharton, because those are the other two names. Belieber and Wharton. And sort of that matching, because it's difficult, because if you're talking about currently, I can't see, I'm looking at it like who's going to partner Manu, right? And who's going to partner Manu and who's going to partner, let's say, hypothetically speaking, Tonali of Wharton and Belieber, right? That's the type of scenario I'm thinking of. What's your thoughts on like who complements, you know what I mean? Who's best? It's about synergy in it, and who complement each other the best. That's a factor that takes.
The tough one. I think Wharton is a bit more a ball playing guy, right?
Yeah.
Likes to get the ball. I think Belieber is a bit more mobile, right? So I don't know. Maybe he will complement Mano a bit more in terms of having that ruggedness to being able to cover a bit more ground and willing to do the work that Mano probably couldn't or won't do.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I think with Belieber, right, he can go up and down the pitch. He's got that physicality. He's got the energy. So if you brought in, say, if you brought in Tonali, right, Tonali can play as a 6 and also as an 8. So in that case where you're playing a game, Manu's injured or he gets subbed off. If you brought on Belieber can go into that number 6 role. Tonali can go forward. Do you know what I mean? And allows him to free up himself. If you're playing someone like Wharton, I can't see a midfield of Wharton and Manu. Do you know what I mean? I can see a midfield of Wharton and Tonali, but not Wharton and Manu.
Who would you go for out of the two?
Do you know what? It's tough, right? Because like when you're looking at Belieber, right, his form kind of fell off, isn't it? Yeah. So you're like, oh man, like why? Like your form has been slack, and then you're gonna come here Brighton come with potentially an astronomical figure, and you're just thinking to yourself, are you making a mistake? I know he's young, do you know what I mean? But it's like, are you making a mistake? But the other thing is he's got like the physical attributes, but I don't want us to be in another situation where it's like Ugarte again. Do you know what I mean? You look at Ugarte, he's got all the physical attributes. We're just not getting anything.
We didn't really see the technicalities in him.
Nah, you know what I mean? And Belieber's not one of those, like, I mean, he can take the ball on the half turn and drive forward. He also saw those clips, but he ain't really like the most technical out of the lot. Out of Belieber, Tonali, Wharton, and Anderson, Belieber's probably the least technical. Do you know what I mean? He's got a bit of press resistance there, but he's not technical, and that's a bit of a worry there. But it seems like we've put in so much.
When you say he's not technical, what do you mean?
I mean, like he's reading of the game. Do you know what I mean? Being able to scan that pitch, being positionally astute and aware. Do you know what I mean? He's passing range as well. I just feel like he's more like why Man United to him and why people love him is more for his physical attributes than what maybe.
He can dribble, but he can dribble and pass. Like it's a tough one, and he's
a ball carrier. He's a ball carrier.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's a tough one, but it's also good for us as fans that we have those options. The question is who actually wants to come and what deal we can settle, isn't it? Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was to put in order, right, I'll probably go Anderson, Tonali, Belieber, then Wharton.
I'll probably do the same, although a lot of people be on to us with Wharton. Though. A lot of people respect Wharton over not over the other two, just over Belieber. They respect Wharton, but I see what you're saying because, to be honest, I don't see much of it. I know, so Wharton is more defensively minded than Maney, for sure, right?
Yeah,
he knows where to stand. He knows how to win that ball back, and he's got a good passing range and whatever. But I just don't see a big enough gap between Maney and Wharton. Like, I feel like if you coached Maney under Carrick, right? Carrick's, that was his specialist area, midfield. Do you know what I mean? Holding down that, you know what I mean? I feel like under the coaching of Carrick, he bring out more in Maney. Do you know what I mean? Could he learn under Maney?
Yeah.
Could he get Maney to be a guy that's not always chasing after the ball. Do you know what I mean? In a counter, in a transition moment, like not running after the ball. It feels like he's got a parachute behind him, or get him standing in the right place where he's looking on to the person that's running at him. You know what I mean? Because that's very different to you. You know, I was chatting to Ron's about this, my boy about this as well, about someone running at you versus you, how you've seen it in many clips where there's a turnover and you're seeing our guys trying to get back and we just really can't keep up because there's no physicality. So Carrick never was like that, and it was never quick. It never happened to him because he was like smart positionally. Casemiro as well, you often see that as well. Like he knows how to position himself. Even if you're talking about a defensive side of things, you see guys like De Ligt, who is not the farthest spot. You hardly ever see him like chasing, running the ball down because he knows how to place himself. And you more time you see him doing last ditch tackles. You know what I mean? So,
one thing about Walton though, he's a great passer of the ball though.
Yeah, he's another guy that's can dictate play. You know what I mean?
But then also the question is like, but the good thing is that at least all the options know how to play in the Prem.
100%. 100%. And that's what we're after. Man United are treating this window with the midfields similar to the attack, how we did it with Cunha and Mbuma. And we saw all of the positives that's brought. Do you know what I mean? Like the goals were averaging probably just under 2 goals a game. Do you know what I mean? And that's so the attack worked, and it's currently working. You know, Sesko, even though Mbumo's dried up, Sesko's been chipping in here and there. Cunha, overall level of performance has improved as well, and he's been helping us out massively. So the attack are doing their thing, but obviously we're going to probably add to that as well. There's been links with Diamonde and stuff, but that's for another time. But yeah, there's another guy as well that's been covered. It's been discussed. Alex Scott. What's your the Bournemouth guy, the youngster? To
be honest, I haven't watched enough of him.
Yeah, I think he's.
Let's see.
Alex Scott. Do you remember? He's been to English. English quotas ticked right there. For me.
Actually, I saw him. Didn't he play against us? He played alright against us when we played. We just drew with him, right?
Yeah, we drew, and he was someone that looked a bit decent. You know what I mean? He had that one shot that came close. You know what I mean? He had that.
But is he more of an attacking midfielder, or is he more defensive, like centre midfielder? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think he's more advanced. You know what I mean? He's probably that 8. Yeah. Gets forward a bit. So, and for us, I feel like we probably need 6. Yeah. We want, apparently the rumor is we want a 6 that can be an 8, and we want a 6 that can be an 8, and we want an 8 again that can probably be a 10 if I've got it right. Don't quote me on that, but I prefer 2 6s that can be 8s. Do you know what I mean? I'll prefer that because we need that depth. Do you know what I mean? So look, it's interesting as well. And there's other names like Andre Gomez. Again, he's got that physicality for Wolves. Wolves is looking like they're going down as well. So could there be like a bargain like by there? And that's something that Man United could be taken into consideration, because we're looking at 2 midfielders, right? But is that 2 midfielders on the premise of Casemiro leaving only? And would that change if Ugarte leaves? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously he's not getting any game time. He's been linked with other teams in I think Ajax and I think the Dutch league or whatever. He's been linked with other teams, so there's a high possibility that he can leave. So does that mean that we look at 3 midfielders? And if we're looking at 3 midfielders, then you're probably looking at someone like a Tonali. That's the A-lister, Anderson, Tonali. You're looking at someone like maybe like Belieber / Wharton, the B-lister type, not expected. And then you're probably looking at someone like your Andre Gomez for Wolves, or Alex Scott, in that B list, because I think he could be, in that list. And then you're looking at someone like Andre Gomez or Fernandez. Is it Matthias Fernandez? You know, the West Ham guy, as well, someone that could potentially be a cheaper option as well, but are still young and still quality.
Yeah.
Because West Ham is in that relegation battle, so I know we've got eyes on Fernandes. And obviously Wolves look like they're destined to be relegated, even though they've been putting up a fight of recent. They've been shocking the world. But yeah, there's some options there as well. So I think like there could be a potential that we buy 3 midfielders. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, especially where we make some sales. Because Xerxes is looking like he's on his way out. We could get some money for him. How much we get, I don't know. Maybe 20 odd million. Ugarte, same thing. And then you've got people like Rashford and Rasmus Højlund. And I heard Rasmus Højlund's guaranteed as well. Before before it was like they must make Champions League, Napoli, but now it's like we want. Oh, camera went off there. Calm. Yeah. Now it's guaranteed they want Rasmus Højlund. So
yeah,
the money's in the bank there, and I think it's going to contribute to it.
It is be interesting, isn't it? And I'm sure they'll do their due diligence, right? Because what I would say about INEOS, they haven't made some good signings. So I'm sure they know what profile they're looking at and know what and earmarked how much it will be. But the problem is Anderson would have been the standout option in terms of being able to tackle and be a ball player and stuff. But the problem is that with Man City knocking on the door and after Rodri's interview, it looks like that position will be free or available soon for them to fill.
It's so annoying, isn't it, that City's going for the same players as us. It's so frustrating. They took Semenyo. Semenyo would have been that guy for United right now. Oh my days. Imagine him on the left wing.
Would he have been starting though?
I think so. I think it would have been interesting what we do. I think it would have been Cunha on the right. Because Ahmad hasn't really been like giving Carrick a headache. I mean, obviously due to squad, but it probably could have been like in Boom. It could have been like, it depends, innit? Because I think we'll be rotating, but you could have scenarios where it's Semenyo on the left or the right, and then Cunha again on either one of those flanks, and then and Mbumo, or times where it might be Mbumo on the right, Semenyo on the left, and Cunha don't come on like he will just rotate depending on whatever. And I think it's prepping anyway. I think it's more prepping for following year as well. I think it's more prepping for next year. So yeah, we'll have guys sitting on the bench or whatever, but when we're having a lot more games now, we're going up from 40 to whatever it is, 60 odd if we do well in all competitions, then you're going to need those guys. You get me? So yeah, but it's all going to depend on what the manager situation is saying as well, in terms of how we get these players over the line, because we need to sort out the manager situation. World Cup's around the corner as well, kicking off in June. So
we can't wait till the World Cup's done before we make a decision on who we get manager. At the end of the season, I'm talking about a couple of weeks after, we need to just make a decision and then start pushing forward. We can't be doing, we're waiting to see what happens in the World Cup or this, because then this stunts our growth. So at least, we know we've got our manager sorted now. Let's get the players.
But I think so as well, Nick. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a quick. Who do you feel like you want managing Man United? I know it's not off topic slightly on the midfield team, but who do you want managing? You want Carrick?
Probably for now. You know, my problem is right. There's great options, right? And people are saying, I've seen some pundits saying, it needs to be a world class. But we've had Mourinho, we've had Van Gaal, and it's not worked. And sometimes it's not always the important. Like sometimes, think about this, right? We get a new manager in, right? Our team's playing well. We get Champions League. Now the team have to adjust to this new manager, the new coaching style, the new coaching staff, and then as a whole, let's hit the reset button and start again, right? Yeah. With Carrick, at least he's got his team in. He can have a full preseason with them. There's no trying to familiarize yourself with him. There's more building on what he's already got, and it's just full focus. Now is that they have to understand the style. They have to understand the manager, the new training. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you, and it is.
Carrick understands. Carrick understands the club and the magnitude of it as well.
Yeah. I feel like, not like to say that Luis Enrique by any stretch of the imagination, because obviously he's been touted as the one to bring in, right? But not to say that he'll be worse than Carrick, because he's class. You know, he's done these treble winning seasons. You know, he won the league for Champions League for PSG. He's done the things that many managers couldn't do. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I need Man United to have stability. There's a thing about bringing in a manager too early. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like Enrique, he likes to go to teams where one.
Wasn't he at Roma though? And he didn't do that well.
No, he was at what? Back PSG, Barcelona, and where else has he been?
Wasn't he at? I thought he was at Roma.
Let me Google him. Enrique, clubs he's managed. So
no, it wasn't my bad. Yeah, he was at Roma.
Was he at Roma? How did he do that? Yeah, so Vigo managed 41 matches in Serie A in 2011 to 2012. He then went to Celta Vigo.
Okay, because he decided to leave Roma at the end of the season after failure to qualify for any European competition.
Yeah. He finished 9th with Celta Vigo.
Okay.
9th in the Liga. But then when he went to Barcelona, it all changed. You know what I mean? He won the Continental treble. So and Copa del Rey, and won all of that. And then he went to the national team and stepped down for personal reasons in 2018, 2019. And then he came as a runner-up in UEFA Nations League, the Spain national team again. He went back there, and he was a runner-up, so semi-finalist. And then at PSG, he's done a madness there, complete madness. So yeah, including winning the Champions League. So Enrique's he's come up, he's done his thing, he's got experience of winning, but as you can see, like his title winning is when he's gone to the big teams. You know, your Barcelonas, when you've got your Messi's all up in the mix. You know, he's gone to, you know what I mean? He's gone to PSG, where he's got, even though there was no Mbappe in them times there, but he had big stars in that team. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I just feel like the timing is everything. You know, you can come to Manchester United and not do what people expect because we just ain't got the right tools for him. We ain't got the right squad depth for him. We need to give it time. We need to build the team. Because these managers know what they're doing. These head coaches know what they're doing. They look at the team, they look at the budget and say, can I go to this team and be successful? Which is why people like Zidane are very picky. He's going to the France national team now. He's not going back to, like, he's looking at teams thinking, I'm not going there. I need to not tarnish my record. And I think like this PK, you know, I mean, if the City job became available, I won't be surprised if he run over there. You know what I mean? So, but apparently, anyway, he's signing a new contract. There's rumors. It's not official. Enrique's rumors that he's happy at PSG.
Did he say he was leaving though?
No. So a guy called Sully Talks, he says Enrique is understood to be happy at PSG and has held positive talks in recent days over a contract extension. Enrique was highly rated internally at United, which means another top candidate is ruled out for the head coach role. Michael Carrick is being seriously considered. So it looks like Tuchel's gone. It looks like the only ones left is Ancelotti's gone. The only one left is what's his name? Nagelsmann, potentially. And apparently he is open to it, but he wants his caress. He wants the talk sorted before the World Cup starts. He doesn't want to deal with it after. And then there's Carrick. So, yeah, Nagelsmann, is it a big enough jump to leave Carrick?
Who would you like as a manager then?
I'll keep Carrick. If I had to choose, if you have to get rid of Carrick, because I've seen what Carrick can do, and I feel like with a better team, strengthen the midfield, strengthen the bench, he can again get results. You know what I mean? No one really is playing like exceptional football in the Premier League, where I'm thinking, oh, Carrick can't at least get Champions League again. Carrick can't at least challenge again. Do you know what I mean? With a good enough squad. So I'll keep him. I think Man United, we just need a bit of stabilization. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we need years in the Champions League. We need to build up the funds. We need to build up the reputation. And then when we make that change, hopefully we'll be ready in a stable place. We've been making changes too much and it's just been too chaotic. I'll say Carrick. I'm on the ready. Go for
that's going to be our most important signing, to be honest.
Massively.
Because once we get the manager, we kind of know, it's also be reflective on what type of players they want. So
100%. So we'll see. And there's one last thing that Ed is Miles Lewis-Skelly. Have you heard the talks? I'm going to talk about it now. So it says Man United, this was reported yesterday, Man United have held talks over Miles Lewis-Skelly, with interest being driven primarily by the player's side as he looks for more regular first-time minutes. One of the key attractions for United is his versatility. He is capable of playing both as a left-back and midfield. That's why I brought him into this discussion. So Ben Jacobs was on the United stand and I was talking about it, and he confirmed that there was discussions with Miles, with our people and Miles Lewis.
What do you think?
Bro, do you see with the Skelly, you know when he burst into the scene and you thought you had the future was going to be built around him at left back? You know what I mean? Like he's going to be the main guy. All of a sudden there was like a planet. And then he moved into midfield and then he was doing really well in midfield. I remember him for doing those driving runs and like doing well.
I think he was playing left back, but they were doing this formation where it was inverted.
Inverted, yeah. It was doing the whole, the Man City left back thing. What's that guy? Yeah. And then, do you know what I mean? And then things kind of dried up for him. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just Arsenal naturally just leveling up. You know what I mean?
They've got Calafiori, right? And then they've got that guy that they bought from
Capier.
Yeah, that they're confirming. So it's probably tough, isn't it? He's young. He's come from the thing, so he's end up being third choice. But I don't think that's a bad signing for us to have. He's young. He can play left. He's naturally, I think, originally a midfielder, gone to left back. So
I've seen good things from him, like at left back and in midfield as an inverted. I've seen him like when he was bursting on the scenes and there was hype around him. Defensively, he was sound, but then for some reason that all just went away and he was getting ripped by. You know what I mean? He was getting ripped in Champions League. He felt like he was a tadpole in like a large.
So is it that we're going for him or his representatives are pushing?
His representatives, I think we've had discussions. I think we're interested, like exploring it. But I feel like his representatives and him more personally wants his game time. You know what I mean? He can't let England like run past him. You know what I mean? Obviously, he wants to be there, called up for the next one. He wants to be that one starting, and he's not going to get that time at Arsenal. He's not getting no minutes. So he wants game time. And I think it's interesting because Man United are probably looking at it thinking, one, like he's the English quarter ticked. Two, he's young, like 19, whatever, ticked. Three, he's got versatility, so he can double up as a midfielder and left back. So say if Man United need 3 midfielders, right?
Yeah.
You get your 2, and then you get him that doubles up as a left back and also a midfielder. Do you know what I mean? So Man United's probably thinking about it like that. But then, there's the other thing about do we want a specialist left back that just focuses on left back?
But the thing is, when Dorgu comes back, where's Dorgu going to play? That's the problem. Is he going to be our left back or is he going to become a winger?
That's the thing. We're obviously looking at, let's talk about Cunha being able to provide. He likes to invert. He's not really provide natural width. He doesn't really provide natural width, even though he does a shift on the wings, in my opinion. That's why we're looking at Diamonde. But then Dorgu, obviously we've seen him his best forms of games is when he was left wing. Yeah. So for me, I think it's going to really depend on the game that we're playing. I think if Carrick is in that same team, you know what I mean? He's going to look at the teams that play a high line, like your Liverpools, your Villas, your Cities. He's going to deploy a Dorgu, you know what I mean? Or bring him off the bench and maybe like start like a Diamonde, for example.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he rotates the team. But I feel like I'll get onto Diamonde in the next one, but I feel like Man United is pressing for that guy to come to the club. But with Lewis Skelly, I mean, I think, again, I don't think he's going to be getting as many minutes as he would probably want if he goes to Like if he went to like a Fulham, no pun intended, you know what I mean? No disrespect. If he goes to like a Everton, goes to like a Fulham, if he goes to like a Sunderland,
it's like Alex Iwobi, isn't it? He's like yeah.
Go to one of these teams, get your minutes, you know what I mean? Instead of, because he's going to be competing, like you said, he's going to be competing with Dorgu. Dorgu's like probably going to be our number one left back. And then you've got Luke Shaw, who's again going to be, you know, competing with him, or Dorgu competing with Shaw, however way they look at it.
So Man United actually interested in signing him?
We've had discussions, bro. We've had discussions. We're looking at left backs. For me personally, I mean, I would want Juve as left back. No, not even first. I think it'll be Lewis Hall, it'll be Hall, and then it'll be Diop.
I feel like we need more right back than a left back before. We need to get a right back first before a left back. Because at least with left back you've got Dorgu and Shaw, right? For now.
Yeah. And then right back you've got Delon and Masraoui.
Yeah, but we need someone a bit more rapid.
Yeah. I can say that for both. Because Shaw, bro, he's how he made it through this long, I don't know. Look at him, he's out again. So you basically
is he injured?
Yeah, he's injured, isn't it? What is he? I think he is.
No, I don't think he is. Remember, he got injured in one game, then he played the next game. Shaw's not injured.
Okay, fair enough. I'm
Shaw started the last game. Remember the game he got injured and he came off. But I think it was more that the player stamped on his foot. Maybe his foot was yeah,
he did. He's okay, cool. But you know what I mean? His injury record is a bit.
Yeah, but we got a shout out to him that he's survived. Look, at least out of all the injury issues we've had, he seemed to be the one that's taken the turn, because look at Mount. Mount's only come back recently, but he's been injured again. With Shaw's played every game.
He has. He's putting it, and I think we've managed him really well. And part of it is us not playing him as a left back. Do you know what I mean?
He's been playing the left back since Carrick came back, bro. That's
since
the thing.
Carrick came, but throughout the whole of the season, he's been playing as a back three. So he's been protected and calm. So trying to put that amount of stress on him more than one game a week and being asked for him to play as a left back is a whole different kettle of fish. You know what I mean? So I feel like we do need a left back. Lewis Hall is off the cards. He's probably going to cost 70 million plus. But I do feel like people like Diop would be an option there. You know what I mean? I feel like he's a really good athletic, tall, strong, gets up that wing, bombs up, provides natural width, pace, and whips in the ball into the box. You know, so I feel like
for you, what midfielder? Okay, just to sum up, what midfielder would you want if you could have your way, or choose whoever you got? Who would you go for?
Tonali and Anderson, but it'll be those two straight in the midfield, my guy. I'm telling you.
Then what happens to Mainoo?
Bro, Mainoo will be the one that's competing, bro. Will be coming up. Bro, there's a lot of games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be in EFL, FA Cup, Champions League, playing twice a week, bro. Like, Mainoo is going to be getting minutes. Remember, he's only 20/21, yeah?
Yeah, but this is the problem we had under Amram, isn't it?
But Amram didn't play him at all. That's the difference.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
if you've got two midfielders that are playing well, why would you break that, though? Say if we get Anderson and Tonali and they're playing sick, what's going to happen with Mainoo?
You'll make your substitutions for one. So Mainoo will be getting these minutes like that. But two, Mainoo's going to be starting in FA Cup game. Mainoo's going to be starting in... Remember, you'll be getting like 30 minutes. I mean, this ain't going to be the scenario, by the way. I don't believe for 1 second United will get Anderson and Tonali. But that's like the worst case scenario for Mainoo.
Yeah.
I think the best case scenario for Mainoo, or medium case scenario for Mainoo, is if we've got one of them and he partners them. And then we've got someone that's a bit more mobile, a bit more physical. That's someone you can bring off the bench to show up the game like how like Ugarte, you know what I mean? I feel like Ugarte does. So that's how I think it's going to be. But if you're asking me out and out, Anderson, Tonali. If you're asking me number one, Anderson, because he ticks every single box. But second, Tonali, and that guy needs to be partnered with. Well, it's probably going to be Believer. Yeah, it's going to be. He's putting too much work. How about you?
Probably Anderson. As I said, my order will be Anderson, Tonali, Believer, and Wharton. In that order, if I got them.
But you know what's going to be crazy about it? Is if we did get a more certified midfield, like say us getting it allows, Bruno was being in midfield for half the season, not this
Yeah.
season.
But yeah.
You know what I mean? It allows him to be in his number 10 role for a whole season.
But that's the thing is, I think he will stay in his number 10 role because we've just seen the best out of him the last couple of weeks, haven't we?
100% under carrot. Yeah. You know what I mean? For sure. And I think that him starting in that number 10 role next season, his numbers is probably due to be crazy. It allows the forwards to get more goals, the forwards to get more assists, the forwards to, more goal contributions. But that midfield's got to be right, man. That midfield's got to be right. I think maybe
it has to be right, but there has to be a good balance.
There has to be a good balance. For me, I feel like mainly should be someone that's coming off the bench. I really do feel like it needs to be.
You think so?
Like, in certain games, anyway, not all games. Like games where I feel like we'll have most of the ball, mainly. Games like Newcastle, for example, you don't play mainly. And if you ain't got mainly, you need someone that can support Anderson in that midfield. Do you know what I mean? Because we need to be ready for all scenarios, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's where I'm at, man. But it's exciting that we're linked with the right players. Do you know what I mean? Because before, we'll just be linked with random guys, man, for expensive amounts of money, man. So I think now we're at least linked to the right targets. You can see where we're going. So I rate it for that, man. If anything, I rate it for that. So look, we'll see what happens. But what guys, man, that was our wrap up, man. That was our wrap up of the midfield discussion, bro. Yeah. Look, decision has been made. It is looking like Tonali is been identified as the new priority target. Don't get it twisted. Man United are still battling for Anderson, but I do feel that there is a silent appreciation of the fact that Anderson is going to choose City over Manchester United. It's all coming together with the Rodri interview, and it's looking like Man United are doing the right thing and the smart thing and pivoting and putting in that groundwork early before we're left with nobody like Love Island. You know what I mean? You go from a triangle to be left with no one. You get me? All by myself. Don't be all by myself anymore. You know the one. So Man United, do your thing, bro. Do your thing. But guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you're tuned in. Let us know your thoughts. Who are your two top midfielders? Who do you think will complement Mainoo? Who do you think will complement whichever combination? You know what I mean? If you're bringing in a third midfielder, who would that be as well? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and let us know the maximum you're willing to spend on each of these players as well, because that's an important factor. You know, money is always an important factor, man. But we'll be back again with another show. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you get those notifications on your mobile phones, whatever electronic device, and we'll be talking about either the forwards or the defense. You've got to tune in to find out. Until next time.
Peace.